This video is brought to you by Massdrop and the Massdrop X Sennheiser gaming headset. PUBG is playing a dangerous game right now with their product. You know, I am a PUBG player to the core. I have played PUBG for about 500 hours on my main account and probably about another 100 hours on my private Steam account. So yeah, you guys could say I have quite the history with this game, and I've been there since the early access release in March of 2017, and I'm still playing the game right now in May of 2018. Of course, PUBG right now is in the news for doing some stupid stuff, and Bluehole as a company is basically trying to sue the makers of Fortnite for copying their Battle Royale templates, which is complete and utter nonsense because the Battle Royale template has been something that has been copied again and again and again by H1Z1 and then PUBG and then Fortnite. It's all just a bunch of nonsense to try to get extra money because, you know what, deep down, the truth of the matter is, PUBG is in some trouble right now. If you take a look at the player counts for the past 6 or so months, it's been a downward spiral in a pretty nasty way. As you can see in this graph here, they have lost a tremendous amount of players. And the core of the problem associated with this trend is probably two or threefold. First and foremost, I love PUBG, okay? This is my go-to game. There's just something about it that I absolutely love. I love jumping into PUBG and playing squads and duos. There's just this feeling of unknown when you go into a game. Kind of like, you go into a game, anything can happen. You don't know where the circle's going to take you. You don't know where that top 10 situation is going to take you. It could be in a grassy field. It could be in Milta. It could be in the military base. It's all such a unique experience, and the thrill of winning a game of PUBG just never gets old. It never gets old because it's always different, and there's always such a high amount of adrenaline. I won a game of PUBG yesterday, and it was so intense because my squad had died and I was up against the ropes. There was 12 guys left. I was on my own, but I somehow managed to eke out a win by just good placements, good strategy, good shooting, and it was such an amazing experience, and it never gets old ever. The heart of a Battle Royale game is so captivating to so many people, including myself, and I think it's really a genre that has so much potential, and it's just really never gonna go away, at least for maybe 5 or 10 years or something like that, because it is such a unique experience to find yourself in some of these situations and come out on top and have these unique gameplay experiences. I think PUBG's gameplay is pretty solid. It looks pretty good to me. It runs good. Of course, it didn't always run good, and the connectivity wasn't always good. It's still not good. There's many elements that are buggy, including how you pick up items. The lag is atrocious at times when you first start a game. There's connectivity issues. You might crash during the middle of the match. It's not perfect, but I think the base of the game is pretty good. The gunplay feels pretty good. It looks decent. If only they could iron out all the other crap that's wrong with the game, I think PUBG would be, the game on the top, to be honest. But of course the problem with PUBG is that the game launched into early access in March of 2017 with a full release in December of 2017, and what have we gotten since those dates? That's the big issue with PUBG right now, is that we just haven't gotten enough. We haven't gotten enough fixes, and we certainly have not gotten enough new additions to the game, new maps, new features, new guns, new optimizations for the graphics, new patches to iron out connectivity issues, new patches to add new things to the game. There's just not enough, especially when you look at Fortnite, which released in relatively the same time space, but has just tons of stuff going on for it, and it just feels like a more finished game. The makers of PUBG just have a blatant disregard for giving players what they want in a time-friendly space. And it has pissed off so many people. There's been so many people who have quit because they just feel like the game has not been supported, and you know what? That is absolutely true. If you really think about PUBG, like, what have we really gotten since March or even December? We've gotten like one new map, a few new guns, vaulting, and is that it? I honestly can't think of anything else that has been added to the game. There's been a few events here and there, and there's been a few other little things, but quite honestly, it is not enough for a 6-month-old game, let alone a game that's over a year and 2 months old in early access. So the game has not given us enough additions, number one, and number two, it has not fixed the performance issues and the connectivity issues, which have been hampering the game for a long time. And that's not even to speak of the problems with the Asia server and people coming over and you just not being able to communicate with your teammates and the cheating and the hacking and all that stuff that's running rampant. But if you add that in too, you're talking about a colossal issue with a game that should have plenty of support. They've got so much money. This company has more money than you could possibly dream of. Where are the fixes? Where are the additions? Where is the finished product? Why is there so little communication from the development team? Why do we have to wait so long for basic changes? We want to know why. Well, here's your freaking answer. Currently, PUBG is taking the makers of Fortnite to court because they feel like they have plagiarized their idea of Battle Royale simply because of the game design trajectory of Fortnite. Basically, Fortnite came out as a single-moded game that was called Save the World, which was basically like a survival game, and then of course they added in September the Battle Royale component to their game, which provoked this plagiarism controversy and allegations that it copied PUBG's formula and user interface, which ironically is not a formula that has been copywritten by PUBG, nor is it a formula that is exclusive to PUBG. The Battle Royale game did not start with PUBG, it started with other games in the past, including H1Z1, DayZ, mods for Arma, even Minecraft. It goes back a long way. So the claim that they're stealing their ideas is absolute horse manure if you ask me. But the claims by the makers of PUBG aren't the fact that it's just a copycat game. The claims are based around the fact that Fortnite used to be a different game, Save the World mode, and then once PUBG started to have all this success, Fortnite copied them by introducing their own Battle Royale components into their game. So that's the real issue, the fact that once PUBG started to take off, Fortnite came and jumped on the money train and introduced a similar game mode. No matter what way you slice it though, this is such a stupid statement that it blows my mind. Fortnite didn't copy PUBG. It introduced a completely different type of game in third person with a building mechanic and just a bunch of wacky stuff with a completely different aesthetic. There's no copycatting stuff here. The baseline template for a battle royale game is that 100 players drop in from a plane or a bus or whatever and then one person wins. That's not copying someone if you do the same thing. In fact, they didn't even copy PUBG. They copied the idea that was built from PUBG, that was built from other games way before PUBG even came around. So this allegation and this court trial or whatever the hell is going on, this isn't going to go anywhere, mark my words. PUBG Corporation is just going to make themselves look stupid if they go into court and they try to fight for this. The most ironic thing about this entire situation is the quote by one of the litigators of the case. He says, "We filed the suit to protect our copyrights in January," which is hilarious. But the fact is, the copyright is for the game of PUBG, not the Battle Royale template, you dummy. Video games today are built off iterative processes and iteration, which basically means game makers take a successful idea and then they spit it off into a new game and then add some different stuff to it, which is exactly what Fortnite did. So what really pisses me off as a PUBG player and someone who has supported this damn company for such a long time and been a loyal player for such a long time is the fact that this has probably been going on and being prepared for such a long time. In fact, as you just heard, it was started in January, which was 2 months. Actually, not even a month after the full release of PUBG. And even to get to that point, they probably prepared for months and months and months as soon as Fortnite took off as a huge success. So in a sense, what that really means deep down to the core is that PUBG isn't getting the support it needs because the game makers are just going after Fortnite. And that is such a scummy way to go about business because you have so many players, you have millions of players of PUBG waiting, hoping for additions, hoping for fixes, hoping that the game will get better in terms of connectivity, there's not going to be so many cheaters, it's going to be a better experience. But no, what are they doing behind closed doors? Trying to make money off a lawsuit. A lawsuit that they know deep down, they must know, I'm sure they have some smart people out there, they know they're not going to win this lawsuit. So makers of PUBG, thank you very much for making me wait so long to fix the hacking problem, which by the way hasn't been fixed yet, just so that you could prepare your documentation for court. You might be asking yourself though, does it even really matter? Doesn't PUBG have all the money in the world? Isn't this the biggest game ever? No, this game has dropped a tremendous amount of players since, not ironically, the day that they started this allegation. Honestly, I never thought this day would come when I would say that PUBG has lost over 1.7 million players since its peak. Along with many other players, I thought that PUBG was going to be, the game of the future, for at least a little bit anyway, in terms of the Battle Royale mode, because when it came out, there was so much potential, there were so many promises, but then of course, as we all know, in May of 2018 right now in the current, we didn't get timely fixes. We didn't get features in time. We didn't get fixes to connectivity when they should have been. In fact, there were so many things that need to be done to this game that it blows my mind. Why is there so much lag for so many people still after a year and 3 months when you start the game? That in itself is a fatal flaw for a video game, yet it's still not fixed. Picking up items is still crappy. There's still lag. It's still not a good system. Progression in this game is ridiculous, by the way. You earn crates, or at least money that you could buy crates for, and then once you buy the crates, what happens? You gotta buy a key off Steam to actually open them. Take a look at my inventory right now over the past couple weeks. I've got 15 crates here that I should be able to open because this is, well, progression. I can't open 14 of them. I can only open 1 freaking crate. I've got to go to Steam and pay $2 or $3 for a key just to open a crate? No, this is not a free-to-play game. I paid $30 for this game. You need to actually put in a valid progression system that rewards players for playing over time. And there is nothing in PUBG. What do you actually get for PUBG for playing the game? You get the right to go onto Steam to pay for keys to open those crates. That is so stupid, it blows my mind. There are still problems with vehicles. You could be cruising along on a completely flat surface, the geometry seems to be level, and then your fucking car will flip for no reason. Oh sorry, there's this invisible piece of geometry that you didn't see because we didn't actually render the game properly in the code, so yeah, you're dead, thanks for playing for 30 minutes and then now you're dead. And don't get me started on how many times I've shot someone in the face and it did not register because, well, connectivity in PUBG sucks ass. So yeah, there's a lot of issues with PUBG and a lot of things that are pissing people off, but yeah, my point for the video is that all of this stuff could have been fixed. But instead, PUBG is going off on a wild goose chase to try to get some free money from PUBG because their game's failing. If the PC player count is indicative of the greater experience, then I guess I'm not surprised to see that PUBG is so aggressively going after the makers of Fortnite because, well, they're probably in panic mode right now, seeing their numbers in decline. Perhaps they saw Fortnite come in and start having success, and then in January, they started to see their numbers decline ever so slowly, but then, of course, in the next few months, it started to take a massive dip, so they started to get more aggressive in their attempts to bring them to court. Maybe this is the storyline, I don't know, but it seems like this is probably it. Whatever the case may be though, I love PUBG in terms of what it gives me as a player. I just wish there was, the fixes it needed. I wish it was polished. I wish there was more features added because the game clearly deserved it. But once again, we have another case of a game maker just not focusing on the game and focusing on stupid stuff instead, so who knows what's going to happen with PUBG in the future. Maybe they got too cocky at their success and Fortnite came around and slapped them in the ass back into reality, and now they're in panic mode. I'm sure that PUBG is going to be around for a long time, but if their player bases continue to take a dive like they have been, I think they're going to be asking themselves the question at the end of the day, maybe we should have been a better advocate for our game and our consumers in the first place. And maybe, and I know this is a crazy thought, we should have spent 100% of our effort trying to make our game the best it could possibly be since we released it, so that we can attempt to compete with Fortnite instead of just steal their success. What's going on, guys? This video is brought to you in part by the Sennheiser PC37X headset. Now, I wanted to promote this product because I've got a history of not being able to find the right headset for me. It's incredibly lightweight. It's got an automatic mic switch off if you go vertical, and it's got a nice open-ended design in the back, so it's very pleasant when you play video games. If you guys are looking for a high-quality gaming headset at a great price and a very competitive price, this is definitely the one. Over 10,000 people have bought this gaming headset off Massdrop, and it has a near 5-star rating. Massdrop also carries a bunch of other gaming items at the lowest price by doing what are called group buys and special collaborations with manufacturers, so you're always guaranteed the lowest price possible. So if you want a nice minimal headset with a lot of clarity, go to the link in the description or the link you see on your screen right now to support myself and Massdrop with their Sennheiser PC37X headset, as well as anything else gaming related, because Massdrop is the home to gamers and technology alike. So yeah, guys, there's my opinions on PUBG. What I want you guys to do right now is leave me your thoughts down below in the comment section, and I would love to read them and respond to as many as I possibly can. So thank you very much for watching, guys. If you liked the video, go ahead and thumbs it up, and if you did not like it, then maybe you can check out some of my other content that's a little bit different. So have a great day, guys, and we'll see you in our next video. Peace, love, and happiness until then.